Welcome back, Schmitt Heads, to another week of Undercover Picks. I'm your host, Jojo Suave, and I'm ready to kill it this week. Let's get to it. So far this year, we have 87 wins against the spread. We're about one really good week from being up there with the top 1%. And we're two really good weeks away from just running away with it all. So we've been staying alive. Only 2 weeks under 50% this whole year. One of those weeks was 7 out of 15. So really only one bad week all year. But I've been on an 8 and 7 game win streak the past 6 weeks. So it's time to step it up and get a week 10 wins or more, and that's what I want to do this week with only 14 games. It's going to be tough, and especially with this Thursday game, if we don't get it right, it's going to be even more tough. But let's get to it. First game of week 12. Don't know where my mind's at. We got Thursday night, Buffalo Bills at the Houston Texans. Texans are plus 5.5. I have minus for some reason. I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills to win and to cover the 5.5. Now, it's going to be tough. Houston has a tough defense. Bills' defense is letting teams score on them. But everybody's picking Houston for some reason. Right now, if you look on sports betting sites, the money's all on Buffalo to win and to cover. But everybody I watch, everybody I'm seeing, they're all picking Houston. They're saying this is a good spot or a bad spot for Buffalo. And I don't see it. Allen's 8-0 on Thursday night football games. 8-0. So, he's going to lose eventually, right? I don't think anyone's undefeated in a certain primetime slot. But he ain't going to lose this game. He's 8-0 covering, by the way. Houston, I'm not sold on their offense. Davis Mills, he's an okay backup, but he's not going to kill it every game. Houston's offense, I think, out of the large sample size, we already know they're not going to put up a lot of points, even against this Bills defense. I don't really like Houston's run game. They don't really have one. They might play decent at times, but they're not going to run all over any team, I don't think. Houston's 2-0 with Davis Mills starting. I don't think he's going to be an undefeated quarterback. I don't care if it's 3 games, 4 games, 5 games. It's not going to happen. I don't really got too much on this. I like Josh Allen. I think he spreads the ball a lot. James Cook is starting to heat up. I think he's going to have a really good game. And this Houston defense, I think this might be a game they finally give up over 14 points, over 20 points, should I say. They're one of the top 2 defenses. I believe them and Seattle are the top 2 defenses this year. But I think Houston's offense won't be able to keep up with Buffalo's offense. I think this game will go over the 43.5, and I don't think it'll be because of Houston at all. Houston might score 13 points, maybe 17 points, but I think Buffalo's going to get to at least 26. They've scored a lot of points the last 2 weeks. And this is a must-win situation for Buffalo, too. They're down 2 games in their division to the Pats. They were supposed to win this division comfortably this year, but here they are. So I don't think they're going to let their foot off the gas if they get a lead. I think they're going to keep going. They need to win. They need to start winning football games, and they need to start winning them convincingly, so they could start being talked about again as a top contender. Because right now, a lot of people are still giving them the respect, even though their record is what it is, only 6 wins. Or do they have 7? Shit. I should have looked that up, sorry. Also, Josh Allen, great running the football. Houston's Texans defense. If they have one weakness, it's stopping the quarterback runs. Quarterbacks, they allow the most rushing yards to quarterbacks. So there's that, and Josh Allen can run the ball. So if he gets in scrambling situations, I think that really looks good for the Bills. So yeah, that's what I'm going with. Thursday night football, Buffalo Bills to win and to cover the 5.5. And I also think it's going to go over 43.5. Next game, 1 o'clock. No more early morning games, I think, for the rest of the year. We went 3 for 6 on the early games this year. So 50%, not too bad. I'll stay with that. Last week, the Washington looked like they really threw it away, so I feel like we should have been 4 for 6, but I'm not going to harp on it. Next game, we got the New York Jets at the Baltimore Ravens. Ravens are minus 13.5. I'm going to go with the Ravens to win and to cover here, and I'm throwing my money on it. That's the first money pick of the week, y'all. We got 2 more. I was going to say have 4 money picks this week, but I'll get to that later. I had to take one off the board. So I said a few weeks back Baltimore was going to lose before the bye, and then they go on a 6-game win streak. I'm still sticking with that. They're going to win this game for sure. And then they got Cincinnati, I believe, in 4 days. I should have highlighted it. Yeah, they play Cincinnati in 4 days after their game. I believe on Friday, or maybe it's Thanksgiving. There is a Friday game, but that would be Thanksgiving, and so they play in 4 games. So they get a division matchup early. I think they're gonna want to win this game. My thoughts are go up by a lot of points so they could take their starters out at some point in the fourth quarter and start getting their rest before a short week going against a division opponent. Yeah, and it's a tight division, sort of, oddly enough, in that division. It's pretty tight. So I think they're going to want to blow this Jets team out. And the Jets, they covered their last 2 weeks, and I'm ready to hop off that bandwagon. I've been picking the Jets games pretty good. I've picked 3 right in a row. Let's go for 4, baby. Baltimore to win and to cover. I'm putting my money on it. Justin Fields isn't going to be playing. Tyrod Taylor is. That makes me a little bit nervous. I do think that is a upgrade. Not the best upgrade, but it's an upgrade. They'll at least get some passing yards. Justin Fields, though, what kept the Jets in the game last week was his ability to run the ball. Tyrod Taylor isn't going to do that. I'm not worried about him eclipsing 15 yards. You know what I mean? He'll scramble maybe if absolutely necessary. But I don't think he'll turn the ball over, but neither was Justin Fields. He wasn't really turning the ball over. So, yeah, I think Baltimore should win this by a lot. Ravens, they need to they got a lot of injuries, so I'm going to keep my eye on that. Their defense has a lot of injuries, but their defense has also been playing really good as of late. I don't think they gave up 20 points in like the last 4 weeks. I got so much notes than normal, so I'm probably not going to find anything I'm looking for ever throughout this whole video. But yeah, I think Ravens will finally have their blowout win. It's been a while since they had a blowout win, and they're still obviously capable of that. They have pretty much the same team when they were getting all those blowout wins. And yeah, Baltimore's defense throughout the whole year, they've had more good games than bad games. So I don't think their defense is as bad as everybody thinks. And obviously, as of late, they've been showing that. So I don't have the numbers, but they've been playing really good lately. Next game, so I'm going Baltimore to win and to cover. minus 13.5. I also think the game's going to go over 44.5 because, like I said, I think it's going to be a blowout. So it's going to be mainly Baltimore. I think they'll put up 30 plus points, and then we just need the Jets to put up like at least 10, maybe 9. All right, next game. We got the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Chicago Bears. Bears are minus 3.5. I'm going to go with the Steelers here to win and to cover. This is a must-win game for the Steelers. And against this Bears offense with this inconsistent Caleb Williams off-target throws, I think they can get some turnovers on defense and, give Caleb a hard time. Now, Rudolph might play, Rodgers might play. Either way, I think the Bears are on a win streak. They got to lose. They've been winning, but not just because they're on a win streak. A lot of the games on this win streak, I believe 5 of them have been, comeback wins. Like they were losing and final drive they came back down and won. So this win streak is going to give eventually. And I think it might be this week. Like Pittsburgh Steelers, they were able to upset the Colts. They were able to upset the Pats. They've had some surprising wins this year. And their offense, they've been putting up points every single week. They put up 20 point. They're good to put up 20 plus points. And I think, Rodgers hasn't been playing horrible. His numbers are actually good if you look at them. 19 touchdowns, I believe, like 7 interceptions, something like that. Not horrible. And but he hasn't been playing great, so I don't think him being out makes a huge difference. Rudolph looked really good last week. I think Pittsburgh's fans were hyped to see that. Pittsburgh's fans travel well. They'll be at this game. Chicago's defense is really banged up. They give up a lot of yards, but is this their D? Both teams win close games, so I also think that this will be a close game, obviously. It's going to be a nail-biter. It's going to be a sweat no matter what team you pick. But I really believe Steelers cover the spread and win it. They need this win. And the Bears, I expected them to do better than everybody thought this year. But, they're going to lose a couple more before the end of the year. I do think they make the playoffs, though. I've had that in the beginning. I have a ticket. Future bets that's looking really good. The only team that I have predicted to win their division that's not looking too good right now out of all the divisions is the Jacksonville Jaguars, but I'll get to that later. They have a chance. They're not out of it yet. That ticket's still alive anyway. Now done with that side note. I think Pittsburgh's D is going to play good against Caleb Williams. I think Bears D is going to play good as well. I do think this goes under. I think it'll be a low-scoring game. It'll go under 46.5. But Pittsburgh wins and covers at the end of the day. Bears, this is it. Bears play Philadelphia Eagles in 5 days after this game. They're playing on Black Friday. So I don't think they're going to be going all out. But they are on this win streak. I do think it'll be another close nail-biter. I don't see Chicago winning this game by more than 4 points. Now, Pittsburgh's offense has looked flat at times this year. We could see that again. I don't think we're going to be done seeing that for the rest of the year. I just don't believe it's going to be this week. I think Metcalf's due to have a big game. I don't think he's had over 50 yards in like the past 4 weeks. So, let's go Pittsburgh. And I think this little change of quarterback, I don't know why, I'm feeling good about it. If it happens, if Rodgers does come back and he actually does play, I think he'll be on some sort of drug that just makes him play phenomenal. Next game. So I'm going with Pittsburgh to cover and to win, plus 3.5. All right. Next game, we got the New England Patriots at the Cincinnati Bengals. Bengals are plus 7.5 at home. I was back and forth on this one. Still am. Still might switch it, but I'm pretty sure I'm leaning a little heavy on Cincinnati Bengals to cover this game. New England's going to win. I don't know why I feel like Cincinnati can cover this. New England, but they're on an 8-game win streak. They haven't been on a 9-game win streak since Tom Brady. That's why I believe they get this 9-game win streak. That's more they could throw in there to hype up Drake May. They love hyping this guy up. So I believe he also has a good game. But Cincinnati's offense, Joe Burrow might play this game. So I think if he plays, the Cincinnati defense, if you look at the beginning of the year, they did play a little bit better than they have the rest of the year when Burrow was in the game. I don't know why. I haven't looked into it. Maybe Burrow is putting them in better positions. But, Cincinnati's been putting up more points since Burrow got injured. But yeah, I think it'll be a little motivation and maybe give the defense just a slight boost that they need. But even that, Flacco, if you look at his past games, I believe he's played the Pats about 8 times, and every time he slings the ball, he gets his yards. So there's that. I think Flacco could have another good game against the Pats, and if there's a way to attack the defense, it's passing the ball, because Cincinnati doesn't have a run game, so I think they will throw the ball a lot against the Pats, and you have to. They've proved that they could put up points every single week, so I don't think there's going to be anything stopping the Bengals from wanting to throw the ball and continue to throw the ball. Jamar Chase won't be playing because he had a case of the Hawk Tuas. And the Bengals still put up a lot of points last week without him really doing much. Now, even though he didn't do much, he probably still drew a lot of attention away from the defense to get the other guys open. So there's that. But I think that New England's due to have a little bit of a flat game. Cincinnati's defense is due to play a little bit better. I think it'll be a high-scoring game, but I do think it'll go under the total of 50.5. So I think New England wins. Cincinnati covers the 7.5. And it goes under 50.5. Is there anything else I missed? No. New England. No, sorry. Next game, we got... also, the Pats D is the worst on the first drive of the game. They always let up a score, so if Cincinnati gets the ball and scores first, that's looking really good. Then, then that plus 7.5 automatically turns to plus 14.5. I like that. Anyway, next game, we got the New York Giants at the Detroit Lions. Lions are minus 10.5. This is my second money pick of the week. I'm going with the Detroit Lions, minus 10.5 against the Giants. I think Dart will be playing, but I'm not worried about that. Their offense is bad. He's a rookie quarterback. He's been looking really good this year. He's gonna have a couple of bad games, and he has nobody to throw to. So there's all that. And Detroit Lions, coming off a loss, they dominate. I don't need to say anything else. They always dominate coming off a loss. They can cover this 10.5, especially against this Giants defense. Jahmyr Gibbs can definitely run all over this defense. He didn't have a good week last week, but every time this year he didn't have a good week, he bounced back and dominated. So I want that trend to continue. Same with St. Brown. I think he's going to pop off. He got shut down last week. Lions offense in general, they're going to do good. 0 for 4, 0 for 5 on fourth down, I believe, last week. That's horrible. A bunch of them, they shouldn't even go for it. And they still only gave up 17 points. A bunch of those fourth downs were on their side of the field, on their side of the 50. So I think the Lions defense won't have trouble stopping this Giants offense. Giants season is pretty much, as the game, like Winston couldn't even keep them motivated last week. They almost won. They ended up getting the cover. That stunk. We picked Green Bay, lost that by the hook. But I think Giants, I don't see a world where they cover this game. This is probably my favorite pick of the week. And, at some point, Detroit's going to lose, and they won't blow a team out and cover. But it's been a while since that happened. I don't think it's going to happen this week against the Giants team that has nobody on offense. Still doesn't have a head coach, really. We're going to check on the Dart injury. He's questionable, but I believe he'll play. Concussions usually don't last more than a week. Only time I've seen it last more than a week is currently we got C.J. Stroud, and I think Tua on his third concussion. He was out for a couple weeks, but that makes sense. Third concussion in 1 year, or it's probably second concussion. I'm exaggerating probably. And that's really all I got for this. Giants season is over. They can't. They're not going to be motivated, I don't think. It's away. I think the Lions will go on a 3-game win streak before they play the Rams, and that'll end up being a really good game. And same thing as the Ravens. The Detroit plays Green Bay in 4 days, so they play at home on Thanksgiving against Green Bay, and I think, like the Ravens, Lions are playing a weaker team, and they have a good opportunity to blow them out and start resting players in the fourth quarter, even though that's not really a Dan Campbell thing, I don't think. But they could rest players in the fourth quarter after being up 3+ possessions and get ready for Thanksgiving. Get some rest before Thanksgiving. All right, next game. So I'm going with the Lions to win, Lions to cover the 10.5, putting my money on it. And I do believe that game will go over 49.5, pretty much for the same reason as I have the Ravens game going over. I just think the Lions are going to put up a bunch of points, the high 30s, maybe lower 40s, and Giants just got to give us a touchdown and a field goal to help us get that. I'm not putting my money on that, though. Next game, we got the Green Bay Packers, or the Minnesota Vikings at the Green Bay Packers. Packers are -6.5. Packers are my worst team so far this year. I've only gotten, I believe, 2 Packers games correct. I got the first 2 Packer games correct, week 1 and week 2. And then since then, I've picked every Packers game against the spread wrong. So that's got to switch this week. I believe Packers haven't covered in a while as well. Let's see what I have here. Packers are going to Thanksgiving, so same thing. I think they're going to want to blow out this Minnesota team, which I think they can because McCarthy I don't think is good. Maybe he will be next year, but this year it's just not it. He's got some good receivers, and they still can't move the ball. McCarthy isn't doing that good. Their offense hasn't looked too good. He hasn't had a game where he just looked dominant. He had that nice comeback against the Bears week 1, but other than that, even that game he didn't look good. So I'm not sold on McCarthy at all. I think this Green Bay defense can get after him, get some turnovers, and Green Bay can finally have a blowout win. Because in all their wins, they score at least 27 points. So I think they're going to score at least 27 points this game as well. And I don't think Minnesota could keep up with that. I think Minnesota maybe scores around 14, 17 points at most. And Green Bay should get this cover easy. I'd put my money on it, but like I said, I've been horrible on Green Bay games this year, so I got to stay away from putting my money on it, but I'm feeling confident they cover this spread because they're due. I don't believe they covered in a while. I know I have that written down. I'm just not going to find it because my handwriting is so small and, I should highlight stuff. That's what I'm going to do from now on. Highlight stuff that I want to point out in the videos. But anyway, I don't think Minnesota's defense is okay. I got to check the Brandon Jacobs injury because I think he will play. He's a tough guy. Green Bay's in a spot where they have to win. This is a must-win situation for them. As bad as their seasons look, they've looked really good some games, but the games they lose, I think they score like 14 or less. I don't see them scoring 14 or less against the Vikings. Now, it is a division game, all that, but this is the Packers' time of year. It's getting cold. This is their time of year. Minnesota's an indoor team. I never pay attention to that, so I don't know why I said it right now, but right now I'm feeling it. Green Bay Packers to win and to cover the 6.5, is it? To cover the 6.5 points. McCarthy has an interception in all of his games. Yeah, there's all that. Let me get to the next game. This video is going a little too long, and we got a little whiles to go. We got the Indianapolis Colts at the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs are -3.5, and I got my money on this one. I'm going Chiefs to win and Chiefs to cover the 3.5 points. Chiefs are 5-5. Mahomes has never been 500 this far into a season. Sorry, I should have drank some water in his whole career. So, Kansas City's desperate. This is a must-win situation for Kansas City. If they lose this, their season's pretty much over. They're going to have to win out and hope Denver, Chargers, and a bunch of other teams just lose a lot. They're going to need a lot to go their way. So it'll still be possible, but I don't see them getting, counted out this early into the season. And yes, for Kansas City to be out of the playoffs next week would be pretty early, or pretty much have 10% chance would be pretty early. So, Kansas City wins, Kansas City covers. Indianapolis Colts, they've been showing some signs of, I can't think of the word, but vulnerability. They got a really good team. They could win. They could blow out the Chiefs because the Chiefs haven't been looking that great as of late. But, Colts have had close games. Their defense has been giving up a lot of points. I think the Chiefs could score a lot of points on the Colts. I don't think, and the Chiefs are a lot better at home this year. They look almost like a different team offensively at home. I think this defense, I don't know if they could stop the Colts, but I do think this game will go over 50.5. So I think it'll be a high-scoring game because Kansas City is going to be playing balls to the wall, slinging the ball on offense, trying to score as many points as they can. They have to win. And the Colts are coming off of a bye week, so that's a little scary. They've had plenty of time to prepare for this game, and they got an incredible offense, and they're probably feeling refreshed. But I do think the bye week for a team like the Colts comes at a bad time because I believe I said this last week, and I was right. The offense could lose their mojo a little bit. You know what I mean? Maybe they won't put up as many points. And Kansas City also should not be favored, especially by 3.5, by more than a field goal. They're 5-5. Colts have been killing it all year, looking way better. What are they? 8-2, I believe 8-2. They shouldn't be. The Colts should be favored, or if anything, it should be Kansas City -1.5 at the most. So I'm a little sketched out by that. But besides that spread, like I said, I feel good about Kansas City winning this game and covering for all the reasons that it's a must-win. So the coaches are going to game plan the hell out of this. They might rattle Daniel Jones and turn Indiana Jones into Danny Dimes this week. Maybe Spagnuolo. Was he with the Giants when Daniel Jones was on there at all? I don't know, but if he was, perhaps he knows him a little bit. But Taylor's playing like an MVP. There's all the reasons to fade the Chiefs in this one as well, but I just feel like the Chiefs got this. I feel confident enough to put my money on it, so I'm going to do that. Casey's D is playing a little better. People are already starting to say Mahomes is done and all that talk is going on, so whenever I see things like that, I usually like to fade that. Like, there's no way. Whenever someone's starting to get shitted on TV, it's not over. It happened with Brady his whole career. It happened with a bunch of players. Fields, even, when they started crapping on him, he comes out, has a pretty good game, covers the spread. Now he's done. But it'll happen. Like, even when it's on a team in general, like, oh, they're done, they stink, worse defense, this team's going to score 80 points, defense will have a respectable game, maybe give up 24 tops, look better than they have all year, so on. I see it, so I'm fading that. All right. So, yep, we got Kansas City to win and to cover, the -3.5, and that game is going over 50.5. It's going to be a high-scoring game. Next game, we got the Seattle Seahawks at the Tennessee Titans. Titans are +13.5. Now, this is the game I was going to put my money on. I was going to put my money on Seattle -13.5 to win and to cover this. But now that I see Seattle's covered their last 5 straight, I'm not putting my money on it, but I'm going to stick with Seattle to win and to cover. -13.5. I'm still locking that. Can't go with Tennessee. They can't score more than 2 touchdowns. Only time they did, I've said this every week for a while, is against the Arizona Cardinals. And that third touchdown was because Ward threw an interception. The guy that intercepted it fumbled it into the end zone, and then the Titans recovered it in the end zone. So pretty much the Cardinals got them their only third touchdown of a game this year. So for that reason, I'm still going to stay away from the Tennessee Titans. I think Seattle's mad. They're going to have to put up a lot of points. Their offense has put up points all year, like high number of points, looked really good all year. Their defense is top 2. Like I said earlier, I believe it's them in Houston. I think this defense is going to have an easy week shutting down the Tennessee offense. Ward is the most sacked QB in the league, and I believe they're going to get to him a lot. On the other end, you got Darnold, who's like one of the best protected QBs in the league. He doesn't get sacked too much. And he had 4 INTs last week, so I believe he's going to bounce back. Darnold isn't the Darnold of Jets anymore. I don't think he's going to have a string of bad games. He's proved to be competent and accurate and able to win games comfortably, and you're not worried when he has the ball in his hands anymore. Last week was different. Turned the ball over 4 times, still covered because that defense is amazing. And that was against a Rams offense. They were able to overcome that. They didn't win, but they got the cover, baby. So I'm going to go with Seattle. This should be an easy cover. I'm super confident on it. But the fact that they covered 5 straight, I ain't put my money on it because, it's a sketchy world when you're betting. And 5 straight covers, I've never seen a team go for 6 straight. I doubt it's never happened. But ever since I've been paying attention, I've never seen a team get 6 straight covers. I might have made a mistake in one of my earlier videos and said the Pats got 6 straight. What I meant to say is I picked 6 straight Pats games correctly. They've only got 5 straight this year, and they blew their 6th straight cover against the Falcons. And you saw how that happened. May fumbled the ball right at the end of the game when it could have been over on one more first down. So that's what I'm talking about. That's why I can't put my money on it. I see that stuff happen all the time. It doesn't look like a big play, and, the regular sports world, somebody watching at home, but in the gambling world, the betting world, that fumble Drake May had again in the Falcons game meant a lot. But we got the cover. We picked Falcons that week. Next game. And Tennessee's defenses looked okay like last week, but against good teams, their defense does not look good at all. And especially with an offense that can't move the ball and put them in good positions, which is going to happen against the Seattle defense, I believe. It's Seattle written all over it. A lot of big spreads this week, so I think that's telling. That's telling for the week. There might be a lot of blowouts this week. A lot of games that aren't close. You're going to leave a little early, come back to see did anything happen because you don't have hopes that anything's going to happen. I think it might be that type of week. Next game, we got the Jacksonville, and I do think it'll go over the 40.5 if anyone cares. We got the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Arizona Cardinals. Cardinals are plus 2.5 at home. This game worries me a little bit, but because everybody's saying it's a bad spot for Jacksonville, but I'm still gonna go Jacksonville. Jacksonville sucks at away games. I believe they only covered 2 away games in the last 2 years. So it's it's true, but I think I got a feeling that this Jacksonville team is different than the Jacksonville teams in years prior because I've been watching, and Jacksonville is always that team where you're just like, they're going to blow it, and that could happen this year as well. But I don't see them losing to the Cardinals with nobody on offense. Brissett broke records last week, so I don't see him having 2 weeks like that in a row. So we got that going for us. Brissett's not going to play out of his mind. He'll probably manage the game. He could still have a good game, but he ain't going to play out of his mind. That's for sure. Against this Jacksonville defense that likes to turn the ball over, maybe Brissett turns the ball over because he has no one to throw to. He's going to have to force passes and try to make some plays, which I think Brissett could do. But I think Jacksonville can continue to keep getting turnovers on defense. And the Cardinals' defense, they looked pretty good at the beginning of the year, but now they just dropped off. They do not look good anymore. They've given up like 40-plus points the past 2 games against good offenses, but they've also had other games where they've given up a lot of points. I think Lawrence, I don't like him at all. I'm worried he could ruin this for me and make sure he doesn't cover it because he's done that multiple games this year. They could have had the cover and he would at least throw the cover away. He literally threw it away against Houston. He could have just took a sack like a man, but no. With the guy right in front of his face, he said, here you go. And the Houston dude ran it back for a touchdown, a meaningless touchdown last play of the game. They didn't need that. He could have fell down or whatever, and we could have still got the cover, but that didn't happen. Still not over that. But I don't think I think Jacksonville's going to stay hot. They've been scoring all year on offense. They've been putting up a lot of points the past couple weeks. So I don't see their offense slowing down, and I think ETN could have a field day with this Cardinals defense that just gave up a lot of rushing last week. I don't have more on that other than Arizona's banged up. Their season's done. A lot of people probably fighting for their jobs. That might be the only thing we have to worry about, so they might try to play hard. Murray's not playing. That's another thing that's good for the Cardinals. But I'm gonna have to go with Jacksonville. I'm gonna ride on the feeling that this is a different Jacksonville team than the past 4 or 5 years, and that they'll actually win in big situations where they should get a win. Because usually so far this year, Jacksonville, they coming off of a big win, the next week they come out looking a little flat, and I'm worried that might happen this week. That's probably why a lot of people are on the Cardinals, because Jacksonville comes out looking flat after big wins, and this is away. Jacksonville doesn't cover at away games. So for those reasons, I can't put my money on it, but I'm still feeling good about the Jacksonville Jaguars to win and to cover away at Arizona. -2.5 Jacksonville Jaguars. Let's go. Next game, we got the Cleveland Browns at the Las Vegas Raiders. Raiders are -3.5. This game, I'm going to keep it simple, and say that the Raiders win and the Raiders cover the -3.5. Pretty much same reasons as I said last week with the Browns. The Browns are going to do Browns things and find a way to blow this game, blow the cover. And they got Shedeur Sanders, who was 4 for 16 last week. And his average throw is like 2.9 yards. So how are you 4 for 16 when you're not even throwing more than 3 yards on a majority of your passes? That's crazy. That's crazy. Because 2.9, and you figure like a couple of those passes went for over 10 yards. So for it to still be that low, like, I don't have any confidence in Sanders right now. Maybe it looks like there's a reason he was fourth. But do I think it's odd that he's coming in to start his first game against the team he thought was going to draft him? So maybe there's a storyline there. And I said he was going to eventually start this year, even though there was 4 quarterbacks he had to wait through. Who was it? Flacco, Gabriel, and I think that was it. There might have been somebody else. But, he didn't look good at all last week against the Ravens. Now, he came in already. They were having a bad game, but it was still a game. They still had a chance. Yeah, they made the final drive interesting, but 4 for 16. I don't think. I think it'd be smart for the Raiders to rush Sanders and see if he can throw the ball. They play man coverage, and I think this is gonna be a Max Crosby and what's his face? Oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank. He's gonna break the freaking sack record this year, most likely. Myles Garrett. I think it's going to be that type of game. I honestly think that there's a high probability there will be no touchdowns in this game, and we could see a score of 3-9 Raiders. Hopefully, not 3-6, because we need them to cover the 3.5. But that's why I can't put my money on this game. I don't have faith in either of the offenses. I think it's going to be an all-defense game. But I do think the Raiders have a better chance of getting more turnovers or getting more negative yardage plays because of Shedeur Sanders. And even though Geno's been looking like garbage all year, that's an easy reason to fade the Raiders. But Geno Smith, he's been in the league for a long time. He's playing like he's on the Jets again because he's on the Raiders. It's pretty much the same team. But I do believe he does just enough to cover this. The Raiders have no right being -3.5 against any team this year. But here we are against Cleveland, and it's probably because of Shedeur Sanders, so I don't really think it's a trap. And I'm feeling that too. Like, he's going to throw the game away, probably. He's going to make mistakes. He's going to hold on to the ball too long. He's going to have turnovers, get sacked, try to scramble, and lose an extra 5 or 7 yards. That's what I think is going to happen to Cleveland. And then, maybe he'll start winning games towards the end of the year, and then it would be the most Cleveland Browns thing ever to start, like, Watson next year when he's fully healthy. But anyway, and it's so, like, embarrassing almost, like when he completed a 5-yard pass and the Browns fans were losing their mind. Like, I got secondhand embarrassment. Like, if I was him, I would have been like, yo, chill, it was 5 yards. Like, come on, I'm not like they were cheering like he was like a Make-A-Wish kid, you know what I mean? Like, that's crazy. All right, next game. So I'm going with the Raiders to win and to cover the -3.5, and I do obviously believe that's going under. I would bet under freaking 10 if I could. No, under 15. Maybe I will. Next game, we got the Philadelphia Eagles at the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys are +3.5 at home. This game I was back and forth on, and I still don't know. Philadelphia's covered their last 4, but I think I'm going to have to go with Dallas Cowboys to cover. I'm going to say fuck it. They're going to make things interesting and win. Eagles have they're not, the way they've been playing is not like an 8-2 team. They don't need to worry. They're defending Super Bowl champs. All they got to do is make it to the playoffs, and that's how they're playing. So even if they win this game, are they going to beat Dallas by more than a field goal? I don't know. Their offense hasn't been able to put up 20 points in the past 2 weeks. I believe their scores have been 10-17 or 10-16, and they still won those 2 games, and they still covered those 2 games. So at some point, like, it's that type of luck has got to go. They shouldn't be covering the spreads when they're not playing any way that they're supposed to be playing. Their defense, on the other hand, is killing it, and they're only getting better. They made some great acquisitions a couple weeks ago, and so that worries me because they got a really good defense against Dallas's defense that is Swiss cheese, but they've played motivational last week, and I hope they carry that into this week because their season still isn't over. They win this game, they're a 500 team with a tie, and they're not too far away from Philadelphia, really. I mean, I think they could sneak in as a wild card. I also have that as a prop bet that's still alive, that the Dallas is going to make it into the playoffs. So, no bias for this pick at all. But I've been feeling that way about Dallas all year, that they're going to sneak into the playoffs, and this would be the game they'd have to do that. They'd have to win this game. Now, even if they don't win it, hopefully they still get the cover at home. And I don't like the way the Eagles have been playing. Their offense is very inconsistent, hot and cold, a lot of cold lately, a lot. So I think they're kind of due for a bounce back. That makes me nervous, and this is a good spot for the Eagles offense to bounce back against a weak Dallas defense. But they've added some key pieces lately that I think makes a pretty big difference. And I don't think we're going to see a horrible Dallas defense the rest of the year the way we've seen it. Will they have a game where they let up a lot of points? I'm sure. But I think this will be a high-scoring game. I think it'll go over the 47.5. Dallas did a good stop in the run last week. I think they might have a good run defense now, or at least a pretty decent one. Pretty solid one. Maybe not the best of the best of the best, but pretty solid. So let's go Dallas to win and to cover. I didn't even talk about Dallas's offense. I think they have like a top 3 offense in the league. And they've had some games the past couple weeks where they didn't look that, but they got it all together. I like Dak Prescott. I think he's accurate. I think he's smart. He is a Cowboy, so no matter how good he looks all year, he could throw it away. But that doesn't come towards the end of the year, towards when it really, really matters. So that ain't this week. I'm not worried about that. I'm feeling, the more I talk about this, I'm feeling better about Dallas, especially with how bad Eagles have been looking lately, and they're still on a 4-game cover streak. I can't. I'm gonna pick Dallas. I feel pretty good about it now. Not put my money on it, of course, because of that defense. But yeah. All right, next game. We got the Atlanta Falcons at the New Orleans Saints. This is another game I might swap. So out of this week, there's 4 games I might swap. It's New England, Cincinnati, even though I'm leaving heavy on Cincinnati. It's Jacksonville, Arizona, even though I'm leaving pretty heavy on Jacksonville. Philadelphia, Dallas, even though I'm starting to lean pretty heavy on Dallas. And this game, Atlanta, New Orleans, I'm leaning slightly to the left for Atlanta to win and to cover. This is pretty much a pick-em. I said in a couple videos, from now on, 1.5 or less are going to be a straight-up pick-ems for me. And I think Atlanta wins in this spot. New Orleans is coming off a bye, but I like Atlanta's defense. They're like the number one. They send the blitz more than any other defense, and Shug isn't good against the blitz. It's a small sample size, but he hasn't really anybody to throw to. You gotta be worried since Saints season's over if they try to throw out some tricks that might actually work and the Falcons season's pretty much over. Even though I think they might play like it's not. Kirk Cousins might try to lead this team on a winning streak and try to get a starting job again. I don't know how much passionate he is still about football. I think he has a big family and stuff, so who knows? He might just be there for the paycheck at this point, but he used to be a big competitor, and I believe he still is. This is going to be the first game he starts this year. I think he might have started once this year, but I think the 2 times we saw him play, it was because he, I don't know, I think he started against Washington, or am I a whole year behind? Anyway, I don't like the Saints offense. They haven't scored more than 2 touchdowns, I don't think, at all this year. No, that's a lie. They put up points against the Giants, but they typically don't score more than 14 to 19 points. That's like their cap, 19 pretty much. And this Atlanta offense, they have no London, but they still have Bijan. They still have a Cousins that probably this is his opportunity. He's going to be playing the rest of the season to put out one last good highlight tape. Maybe stay the Falcons starter, which isn't going to happen because they got young Penix, but he's also injury prone, so maybe they just scrap that idea. But I think he could start for a team next year easily, but sadly it would probably be a team like the Jets or the Raiders, even though I don't see them dropping Geno unless he retires or something, and some other cruddy teams. But anyway, some team would definitely take him as a backup regardless. Yeah, I don't know. This game's a complete toss-up to me. Like, just the Saints being favored worries me. Like, they got more faith. The books have more faith in Suge than they do Cousins. They got more faith in the Saints offense than the Falcons offense. More faith in the Saints defense than the Falcons defense, which I don't blame them. Saints defense is actually pretty good. It just doesn't look like it because their offense constantly puts them in bad positions, but they don't give up a lot of yardage. Falcons still scoring points, so I like that too. So for the fact that the Saints can't really put up points, and the Falcons could put up 20-plus points almost every game of the year. I think there's only 3 games this year where they haven't put up that many points. They're still scoring quite a bit. I think they put up like 26, 25, like in the upper 20s the last 2 weeks. So I think they have a reason to fight more than the Saints. So for that reason, I gotta go Falcons. I think I'm leaning a little bit heavier to the left. But yeah, those are the 4 games I might switch. So Falcons to win and to cover. They're plus 1.5. They're the underdogs. Next game, we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Los Angeles Rams. Now these next 2 games I have, as always, absolutely nothing written down. It's a lot of games. I take a lot of time to dive through these, take down all my notes, and by Saturday and Monday night games, or Sunday night and Monday night games, I'm just like burnout, and I'll get to those games tomorrow. But right now, I gotta give you my leans and who I'm feeling. I'm gonna lock Tampa Bay plus 6.5 against the Rams. Yeah, I just think that they're Baker Mayfield. They gotta play a little bit of desperation mode. Panthers are right on their ass now, and they're kind of due to at least cover a spread, I believe. They haven't covered in a little bit, and their offense hasn't looked too good lately. Then the Rams have been looking dominant, but they've had some flat games this year, but that was like without Nakua or when they were injured. So the Rams could very well run away with this. Tampa Bay keeps getting that minus 6.5, minus 5.5, 4.5. Like all their spreads are around that, whether it's plus or minus. So they've been a hard team to pick this year. Although I've been picking Tampa Bay pretty decent, I believe. What am I? 50% on Tampa Bay games this year. I got the last 3 Tampa Bay games wrong. 3 games before that right. 2 games before that wrong. 2 games before that right. So hopefully I'm back on another little bit of a win streak with Tampa Bay here. So I'm going to go Tampa Bay plus 6.5 against the Rams. That's all I got. Nothing else. No stats, no numbers, no nothing. Stafford's due to throw an interception. He's been killing it this year, but only 2 interceptions. I think he's due to throw one. This Bucs defense gets turnovers. Yeah. Next game. Carolina, Monday night, last game. At San Francisco 49ers. 49ers are minus 6.5. I'm going to lock in the 49ers to win and to cover the 6.5. Carolina finally getting plus 6.5. That's a lot of points for Carolina this year. So people are going to be all over Carolina, I feel like, because they're going to at least keep the game close, especially put up points because Bryce Young just threw for over 400 yards. Niners defense is still banged up, and they give up a lot of points still, even though, and a lot of yards. So Young should continue his streak. And, all that. They should at least keep the game close. It might be a high-scoring, close game. I don't think so. I think San Francisco wins this game by 7 or more. Easy. Young, after a great game, falls back down to earth a little bit. Niners have the superior coaching. Panthers playing way better than they should this year, which, I think I don't think they're gonna go on any serious win streak, I guess is what I'm saying. So, Niners are healthy. They got Pearsall back. They got Kittle back. They got Purdy back, and Purdy proved that he is the guy. So will he play like that 2 weeks in a row? Like, is he like, all right, I proved it, and maybe like steps back a little bit, like doesn't play like with the chip on his shoulder? Who knows? I doubt it. McCaffrey is killing it again. He's returning to form. I just like the San Francisco 49ers right here. And this is a big spread for both teams, really. San Francisco hasn't been minus 6.5 in forever, and Carolina has been plus 6.5 in forever. Because all year, both these teams haven't been playing like that. So now I'm looking at it, the spread is a bit fishy. I feel like people will be all over Carolina, but I'm really liking the San Francisco 49ers here to win and to cover the spread. If you stuck around for this long, you are a true Schmitt head, and I thank you. Please don't forget to click like, subscribe, comment. Let me know your thoughts on the games. If you're feeling really good about one game, or if there's a game you just don't know, let's talk about it. Let's start a discussion. 65 subscribers. I need, 35 more to get to 100. If I can get 35 more subscribers this year, I'll feel great. I'll feel great. So thanks for sticking around this long. Good luck this week, guys. Bet responsibly. And peace.